welcome, beloved community. We are back again with yet another installment of the People's Water Board Coalition's Water Wednesday webcast. As always, I'm here with my beloved co-host, Valerie Jean.
Hi, everyone.
We can't forget our behind-the-scenes tech guru extraordinaire, Miss Angelica, who brings you consistent content week in and week out. We could not do the show without her. And today, we want to keep some things on your radar, as we always do. When we find out, we get it right out to the masses. And today, we're going to be discussing what could potentially be the result of what's going on in the Line 5 battle with Enbridge versus the state of Michigan.
Battle's a really good way to put it, Nicole, right? I mean, I personally have been organizing against Line 5 for 13 years. It has been a very long haul struggle for the people in the state of Michigan and for activists and water protectors.
Yes.
We have done direct actions. We created a whole water weekend where we focus on Line 5, where we've protested in the water, we've protested on the land. We show up to the different hearings and Army Corps of Engineer hearings, MPSC hearings. Michigan's been in a long haul struggle against Line. Just to catch people up in case this is the first time that you're hearing about Line 5, which I can't imagine, but if in case it is, I can't imagine first because people all over Michigan are standing against Line 5. Like, everybody knows, it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. Everybody knows that Line 5 is bad for the people, the planet, the water.
Absolutely.
Line 5 is a 73-year-old pipeline, right? And it runs from Alberta, Canada, through Michigan, through the Great Lakes and the Mackinac Straits. So just in case this is the first time you're learning about Line 5, Line 5 is a 73-year-old pipeline, tar sands pipeline that was supposed to be decommissioned at 60 years old. It was never supposed to last this long. And it's 73 years old now. People throughout Michigan have been, fighting against Line 5. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. That having a tar sands pipeline run through the Great Lakes, through the Mackinac Straits, through the St. Clair Shores River, it goes from Alberta, Canada, through the Great Lakes, through Michigan, and then back to Sarnia, Canada. Michigan really is kind of a thoroughway, right, for the tar sands to move.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just, and it should have never, it's an Enbridge pipeline. And if anybody is abreast or understands who Enbridge is a Canadian tar sands oil company that is, that's responsible for the largest inland oil spill ever in America, which is through the Kalamazoo River. Over 1 million gallons were spilled.
You brought that up.
Yeah, that's who Enbridge is. Like, we're not dealing with a trusted person in the room. Not that any corporation is a trusted person in the room.
Right.
But seriously, it's not good, right? Enbridge is not good. As a matter of fact, we have whole campaigns, right, Nicole? Like, Enbridge lies, Enbridge lies, Enbridge lies,
and
right?
I just want our viewers to understand that when we talk about the spill that Enbridge had in Kalamazoo, those waterways, that flora, the land, it's still not cleaned.
No,
and
it's
repaired
impossible
or
to clean
back
up.
to normal. You cannot do it.
That's an important point, Nicole.
Yeah.
It's a really important point. Tar sands is thick and sticky. It's exactly how it sounds. It's very thick and sticky, and it looks like tar. It smells like it. And it's impossible to clean up. You can still go to the Kalamazoo River and find what we call tar balls.
Yeah.
Throughout the river. It's just impossible to clean up. And a spill in the Great Lakes, especially there running through Mackinac, right underneath the Mackinac Bridge, where it just would be catastrophic. It would spread throughout the entire Great Lakes. And
yes.
And you're looking at, millions of people drinking water. Of course, it's beyond that, not just drinking water. The Great Lakes are precious. We fish in them, like the indigenous people grow wild rice throughout, like all these other things. They fish for all kinds of, all kinds of different fish and things like that.
And I want
So it's
our
bad
viewers
news.
also to understand that when we say the Great Lakes, we're not just talking about one, we're talking about all five.
Yeah, they're all
All
connected.
five. Because they're all interconnected, which also means places like the Detroit River,
That's right.
River Roos, Huron River, all of those smaller waterways will be affected as well, which means
Yeah.
our sources of drinking water, our sources of water used to grow agriculture, our water for just basic plant and animal life will all be catastrophically affected if another spill or break in that pipeline that's already 13, 14 years past decommission.
That's right.
Well, yeah, 14 years past decommission were to
Yeah.
have any type of even the smallest break. It doesn't have to be a huge catastrophic blowout of a break. It can be a small leak
Still very,
and it
very
could cause
harmful.
catastrophic effects on our environment.
Right. And I mean, as activists, we like to say when, not if, right?
Yeah,
Because all pipelines leak. And Line 5
exactly.
has leaked a lot. Just recently in last year,
Yes,
there was a spill in the St. Clair Shores River. So there's
absolutely.
like, that it's not a if, it's a when. And so the plan is for Enbridge wants to build this tunnel, reroute Line 5 through Wisconsin, which people in Wisconsin are mounting a huge resistance. Thank
Yes, they
goodness.
should.
But this tunnel, it's we're calling it an experimental tunnel project for a reason, because it's never been done before and it worked. It's never ever been done before. So this is like a huge experiment that Enbridge is pushing through. And with this administration, they're like drill baby drill,
So what you're
right?
saying to our viewers, Valerie, just to like get an understanding, a moment of clarity, is that Enbridge wants to build this experimental tunnel. So they basically want to use the lives of these communities that this tunnel goes through, that the animal life of these waterways as an experiment to see what could happen if you build this tunnel. And if it happens to by chance be disastrous, then we learn that it's disastrous, as if people who are already not involved in environmental activism and activists across this country don't already know
Right. Well,
that.
just the building of the tunnel itself, we found out is going to be catastrophic. Just the building of it. Talking about millions of gallons of water that are tainted and polluted. It just in the creating of the tunnel of itself, the boring, the digging, the
Mm.
uprooting, so that you can put this tunnel down there. You're talking about millions of gallons of wastewater every single day during this construction that is going to be dumped back into the water. So just in and of itself, the building of the tunnel in and of itself is going to be terrible. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
awful for the water because of the wastewater. And then you don't have then once it's built around Line 5, the same pipeline that was supposed to be decommissioned at 60 and is now 73 years old, that this when it spills, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that they can give us that it's going to hold that it still won't, that an oil spill won't be catastrophic. It
Mm-hmm.
really is kind of performative. The tunnel is performative. An oil spill would still be catastrophic. Like that's why people all over Michigan, all over Wisconsin, people in Canada, all kinds of people who care about water, who understand how catastrophic this will be, are standing against it.
So for our viewers, would it be safe to say that the purpose of this experimental tunnel is literally to
It's optics.
encircle the already existing past decommissioned pipeline, and that's
Yes.
supposed to be
It's a
done in
tunnel that'll be built around it.
and that's supposedly being done in case there's a spill.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all performative. There's no,
Mm,
even if there was a spill, it'd still be awful. It'd still be terrible. It would,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, it's not, it wouldn't contain, if it was in the winter, we couldn't even get to it. Like
Right.
frozen water,
And then
forget it.
in my mind, what I'm hearing is if, God forbid, when this tunnel does have a leak or has a spill, if this experimental tunnel is allowed to be built and encased around it, at best, it would just slow down the pollution. It wouldn't prevent it.
It's no matter what, it's going to leak into the Great Lakes.
Exactly.
It's extremely, not only experimental, performative.
Yeah.
These are all optics that Enbridge is just trying to use to keep Line 5, connected to the main Enbridge main line, which we talked about with our friend Andy a couple months ago.
Yes.
It's a very large Enbridge mainline pipeline. Line 5 is part of that, web of pipelines. And, Enbridge is doing whatever they can possible to keep Line 5 running. So we're at a serious moment here in Michigan.
Yeah.
The Army Corps of Engineers is saying, they've released this environmental impact, saying, oh, it's going to be fine, right? They have pressure from this administration. We won't name names. We all know who the administration is. They're having pressure
Hmm.
from them, saying, hey, we want American oil, just pumping, pumping, pumping. We want every bit of it, extracted, whatever. Even though this is a Canadian pipeline, it's still being pushed through. Enbridge is a Canadian company, right? But it's still being pushed through like it's going to help people in America in some ways, which it's not. Doesn't help Michigan, doesn't help. They tell a lot of lies. You can Google it right now, and they tell you that if Line 5 will give you a shortage of propane. Well, Line 5 doesn't run propane. That's a lie that Enbridge tells. Line 5 runs
Yeah.
tar sands from the boreal forest. It does
Which
not run propane.
does not contribute even to the production of
No,
propane
no,
at
these are
all.
lies that, remember, we said Enbridge lies. Enbridge
Yes.
lies about all kinds of stuff. So we're at a moment, right, Nicole? Like we're at this
Yeah.
moment where we need the governor to go, the governor and EGLE to go 10 toes down and
Yes,
say, no way,
absolutely.
this is, Michigan says no. We all say no.
And
We're
I
not going to
also
allow this
can't,
happen. We need them to do everything possible, and they can do
yeah.
that.
I
Yes.
also can't help but notice that this coincides right with the dismantling of the EPA as much as possible. The fact that we did a show
Rolling
a
back
couple weeks
regulations,
ago
everything.
where they're folding back the regulations. There's now saying that human life holds no monetary value. So if you're damaged by anything that's caused from by their lack of authoritative, them doing their job, them monitoring to make sure things are environmentally safe, that your family or you, if
There's
you're
no will to
injured,
make sure
don't
that
deserve
things right.
anything.
Right. Yeah, there's no will to make sure that things are environmentally safe, that the water is protected or anything. That's this administration's MO. That's how they roll. They have been rolling back regulations to protect water, to protect people, to protect the planet for since the first one, since the first time
Exactly, exactly.
that it was in that this administration was in place. So there are a couple things that Nicole and I want you to do. There's a really good article from Bridge, Michigan that we're going to put in the comment section down below. There's two important petitions. My can. And
Yes.
there's one from Oil and Water Don't Mix. Both will be in the description box down below. We want people calling the governor's office and saying, please, please, this is the Great Lakes. We need you to go like all the way in on this. We need you to say no, 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 no. We need you to say no. We need EGLE to say no. We need you to
Yes.
stand up and protect the water. So there's these two petitions that you can sign and send to the
Hmm.
governor and to EGLE. They're going to be in the description box down below. But right now we're in this is go time.
Yes.
If you can organize an action, if you can, I mean, anything that you can do
Even if it's
at
simply
this,
just a phone banking or a letter writing campaign or
anything that you can do
anything,
in
just
your
putting it on
that's
your
in your
social
wheelhouse.
media that we need to
Yeah.
shut down Enbridge or stop Enbridge pipeline. Anything, we'll even like come up with some hashtags and put them on our social media pages. You can go there and look and use that hashtag.
Yeah, the shutdown line 5 hashtag itself gets used millions and millions of times. So you
Yes,
could use that for
absolutely.
sure.
Yes.
And Pure Michigan, like I always, anytime I'm talking about Line 5, I always hashtag Pure Michigan because it's used millions and millions of times and viewed millions and
Exactly.
millions of times.
Exactly.
So these are really important steps that you can take. You can take them right from your own home, but also start educating people.
Yes.
Everybody should know about Line 5 and how dangerous it is for the Great Lakes. And it's really it all comes down to it's on us to protect the Great Lakes
Yes.
as Michiganders, as people who live close to the Great Lakes and love it, it is on us. It is our job to make sure that these corporations don't trash 20% of the world's fresh water. It is on us. It's our duty.
Yes.
It's a big one, but we have to do it. So that's where we're at with this.
Absolutely. It's to the point where we're backed against the wall, people. We have to come out fighting. We're
That's
not
right.
fighting just for the environment. There's nothing that can exist without water. We're fighting for our very lives in this,
That's right.
in the lives of future generations. So if
That's
you
right.
have children, if you have grandchildren, if you're planning on having children one day, this is something that needs to be in the forefront of your mind. And this is something that you need to do. Simply signing that petition will be greatly helping us in the fight to shut down Enbridge for good.
Yep. Yep. Get activated. Get your folks activated. We're in crunch time, my friends.
Yes.
We are. Um, I'd like to say to all of our viewers, thanks for we're over 4 years of doing Water Wednesday and doing this water justice education for folks, and it means a lot to us. Everybody that tunes in every week,
Yes.
we appreciate you. We appreciate you taking these action steps. Times are really hard for folks. Nicole and I know we both have been through a lot when it comes to water and affording water and keeping water safe. And
Yes.
so we know what folks are going through right now firsthand. And, do your best to look out for each other, take care of each other, form mutual aid networks, get out there, get activated, and try to stay afloat together. Bye.
Bye.